So my legs came over me and I'm lying on the hill and I can't feel my legs. So I kind of knew what had happened. I didn't have a phone, nor did my friend Eric, so he took off to Dundas to try to pull someone over. And it was funny, I think it's funny now, I look back at it, the things that were going through my brain. The first thing I thought of was my daughters. I wouldn't be able to dance with them when they get married. Not sure why that happened, but thought of that first. And then just how am I going to live? My house has stairs. I loved a motorcycle, how would I do that? My job involves flying around. How do I fly if I can't walk? But also went through my brain was, well, Paralympic sports. I mean, the Olympics had just happened. And I'm thinking, well, maybe there's an opportunity there. But it was always, the question was, how am I going to do this and how am I going to do that? Never once was it, life is over and this is the end. It's just problem-solving mode. Everyone talks about the heat and the wind and the elevation in Kona. And I thought, I trained up north in the Kawarthas. I thought I had it pretty much dealt with and covered. I put a lot of long rides in and did a lot of training, but nothing prepares you for getting on the Queen K Highway and that wind coming at you from, seems like all directions. And yeah, it's just always wind. And it's kind of scary when you see all these, the top athletes in the world going from their aero bars to their drops. But the heat that it picks up off the lava and the heat that it picks off the pavement. In my hand cycle, I'm really low to the ground and you just get it constantly. I broke my back in October. In November, I was using a hand cycle to go and do laps around the hospital. And just that feeling of powering myself, and getting the wind through my hair, and knowing that I can still do these things was empowering. So hand cycling happened right away, and that year, so going into 2009, I was able to do the Conquer Cancer ride with a couple friends. So that was Toronto to Niagara, 2 days, 200K on a hand bike. And so right away it was, how far can I go?
I think after we finished the Louisville Ironman in 2013, that was something I never thought. It was not even on my bucket list. So it was, and he made sure that when we registered, I registered on my own, so he could not be blamed. Very important, but I think after finishing that race, I decided I needed to compete against myself. And so from then on, it wasn't so much about the finish lines and entering races, it was more about finishing the workouts and doing it because it made me feel good. So the shift has changed. It's changed a little bit for me, but for Rob, it continued. The finish line fever never stopped. And I don't think it will.
But it was the year of the accident that we actually said, let's do something more serious. So there was the half marathon, and we enjoyed doing that. We had one of the chariot strollers, so we'd push the kids in that. I'd pull them with the mountain bike. But it was funny because it was after my accident that Sabrina and a lot of my friends became really active. My friends started doing triathlons and a few of them did the Ironman. And so for me, it's like, I don't want to be left behind. I gotta keep up and find a way. And on her own, Sabrina got into triathlon. So 2011, she started doing sprints. And then 2012, we did our first half together. And then 2013, we did the full. And so that was wonderful. And so really fortunate that I'm surrounded by family and friends who feel the same way. If I want to do something and I show people that I'm committed to doing it and wanting to work hard, the world seems to really rally around me to make it possible. So all these things I've accomplished has been because of help from others. The answer was Kona. I had seen the World Championships on TV when I was recovering from breaking my back in 2008, and they featured Ricky James, a young kid from California, and followed him through the race. And it was perfect for me to see that and to think, well, you know, this young kid can do it. I wondered if I could someday accomplish that. And so, you know, having that inspiration, seeing that it's possible, for me, it just became something that was big enough to go for. And then this Kona idea is the pinnacle. It's the mecca. People call it the big dance. But as if doing it with your arms wasn't tough enough, they make it really exclusive and difficult to even qualify for. For hand cyclists like myself, there's only 4 spots for men every year. And the races at which you can qualify are quite remote. It's Australia, Texas, Buffalo Springs Lake, or Luxembourg. And so if you're someone from Canada, you're flying a long distance. And there's a lot of logistics just to get there. And then you need to win those races.
This was his first half Ironman in California, and then his first full in Louisville, Kentucky, then his first triathlete qualifying in Luxembourg, then he did a half Ironman in Florida, then he did qualify in Buffalo Springs, Texas, and then this one's the biggest medal, which is the Ironman World Championships in Hawaii.
So what do you think of that?
It's pretty cool. It's a lot of medals.
Yeah.
So Chloe, I think she was around 4. Yeah, just about 5. So both the girls were young. But again, you know, I'm so grateful that we have had them before my accident, because that's, again, another challenge that comes along with having a spinal cord injury. And so my youngest daughter, Zara, she was 2. She doesn't remember me being able to walk. She's always known me in the chair, and so she's a bit of a monkey. She'll be climbing all over me, and this is just normal. But Chloe remembers a little bit, chasing them, playing soccer, and chasing them around and building snowmen, things like that. But yeah, they're my biggest helpers, for sure. So very grateful.
Well, I don't really think that I would inspire him as much as he inspires me, because he works so hard, and what he does is so different than what other people can do, so it's really inspiring.
But she, you know, it's funny how the tables have turned in some ways. A lot of me striving to do these races has been, you know, to show the girls that, you know, stuff happens in life. You get out of bed and you work hard and you can still do good things. A couple years ago, Chloe was invited to the National Ballet School. So she moved there and she studies there every day. And she dances between 2 and 3, 4 hours a day. And in some ways, she's become my inspiration. So I wake up and I'm like, Chloe's already done probably an hour and a half of ballet. And she's working really hard. I got to keep up with her now. And so there's that back and forth where we push each other. And that's so cool. I mean, that's a great thing to have. And I've gotten to a pretty good place where I'm doing enough stuff that's keeping me happy and active.